and with performance. I think we never find enough consistency in actions to earn the right to completely dominate the game. We have periods of that, but then we start to give sloppy balls away. We drop the standards in certain defensive habits as well. And yeah, when you are not your best, but you are winning 2-1, obviously you can give the ball away in the manner that we did it. It's part of football, and it cost us 2 points.
It's been an intense past week for you, starting in Madrid and then at Ipswich on Sunday and then 3 days later again tonight. Has that played a part in perhaps some of those errors and performance that you've alluded to tonight?
It can be very difficult. We will never know, but certainly the standards are required in the Premier League to dominate many aspects of the game that we should have done better today, weren't there. And then, yeah, the game is always in the air for the position to hurt you if they have the quality to deliver, and especially on the goal that they scored, the second one, they found that.
It's always difficult to find perfection, but there was a sense perhaps around the stadium tonight amongst fans and maybe sometimes the players that minds might be elsewhere. And would that be forgivable looking at what lies ahead for you?
No, because we require the consistency in the competition that we play to be at our best, and sometimes the opposition, and today I think they were very organised and they deserve the credit, but as well we have to be critical with ourselves and look what we have to do much better.
I think it's fair to say that both William Saliba and David Raya have been brilliant at times for you this year, but did you get punished for errors, and are those the type of errors you have to rule out at the highest level?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's going to cost you points that we don't have, but they're a part of football. It's damaging, but I think that's part, and I think we have to accept when we play that those errors can happen.
It's a huge week that lies ahead. You have 6 days now. How do you go about that preparation and managing the expectation that is in this part of North London?
With massive enthusiasm, because we play the most important game of the season in 6 days, and we need to recover and get the energy back and full focus on that game.
Just finally, has everyone come out all right? And the likes of Jorginho and even Kai Havertz have been mentioned as being potentially back involved. Have you any news or update on anything?
No, I haven't spoken to the medical staff, so no news.
Well done. Good luck.
Take care.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure that enthusiasm and excitement will be back next week for, as he says, the biggest game of the season so far. But do you think, Theo, there is, as well as the frustration and disappointment, there is anger there as well from Mikel Arteta about how his side have failed to have that consistency that they really needed to push Liverpool?
You could clearly see that, couldn't you? I mean, it's all I know is I don't think Mikel's not the type to get distracted by other games at all, but it was completely out of character. They spoke about performance. It was the patterns of play, everything wasn't there, it was too safe, too many mistakes. And
have we seen this too many times now? No. 13 draws.
And this is what I'm saying about going into...
Everyone, the backsides are out, here we go, the okey-cokey, and it just creates that space. But if you think you've got 4 or 5 players in the box, and most of them aren't looking to get the ball, there's only 1 or 2 looking to get the ball, that delivery has got to be unbelievable, and it is from Odegaard. We've just criticised him before, but this delivery is fantastic. And still the header is out of this world as well. It's 12 yards out, it's on the penalty spot.
And as a centre-back, how much confidence will that give Kivior getting a goal?
Yeah, it will. You know, listen, you know what, I think Gabriel scored a goal like this at Anfield a year or 2 ago, something pretty similar in that type of position. But on this one especially, Thomas Partey is big part of Kivior there. Kivior gives the whack to Nketiah and stop. And then what you've got is that. That is just being created exactly for him to run into that space. The rest of them have been blocked. They've created that space for Kivior, who looks a different player than what he did last season when he was playing left back, looked completely out of his depth. But now he looks, a credible Arsenal centre back. It's not Gabriel, but it'll certainly give them confidence going into sort of the semi-finals.
Is he a player that's risen to the challenge, Theo?
It shows the mentality and the strength in his character, because like you just said there, he's been pushed out full-back and he's not gifted with pace. He really isn't. This man's quite quick. You're quicker than himself as a full-back, but...
You talking about me?
Yeah, I am talking about yourself. Yeah.
We're going to have a race here.
Yeah. But just to be on the sidelines and to not play at all, to wait for your moment, and then to play in such a big opportunity, a big game, knowing that you're not playing for a lot of time. We've obviously spoken about Raheem Sterling not up to game fitness, and you can clearly see that. And that's not the Sterling we know. But Kiwior as well there, it just shows the strength and the homework that Mikel Arteta is to bring in a player like this, understanding that you ain't going to be a starter, but when I need you, I need you. And as well, that confidence goals, obviously always happens, but look, he's going to have a busy week ahead.
Certainly is, but he looks in a good place right now, doesn't he? It was an equaliser from a set piece from Crystal Palace. And do you think this one, Theo, is sort of conjured because they know they have the quality of Eze on the edge of the box?
Yeah, look, I said this.
They were back in a situation like this to get a shot away.
Yeah, what it was is obviously Raheem and Trossard were pinned back to create all that space for Eze, but for me, you cannot give any opportunity, any Premier League player, that much time on the edge of the box. And I know it's not often you see goals go in like this, but my position as a winger, I would always be on that edge of the box, knowing that I'm not going to win headers, I'm not going to challenge someone. Put me in a position where I can be in a strength going that way as well. If you lose the ball, I will counter. And to have players nowhere near Eze, and again, it's one of those, you mishit it, but it ended up being obviously perfection as well. But look, never give any Premier League player time and space on the edge of the box. Like I say, even goals like that we want to see more of. But look, fantastic finish from Eze tonight it was.
Yet again, though, yes, they are strong offensively at set pieces, but they're also conceding goals from set pieces as well. I think we've got a graphic to show you. Not at this stage. We'll move on. The graphic isn't there.
Yeah, but I think we know the numbers. We'll get to the graphic, but I think Arsenal now conceded 6 goals from corners. That's, would you believe, is the most in the top half of the Premier League. And I just don't know if... Oh yeah, here we go. We get there. That's goals conceded from corners. And that is the percentage this season. So obviously, you look at Wolves and Southampton have possibly conceded more than Arsenal, but they don't concede as many. They have to defend more corners than Arsenal. So in terms of a percentage, there's only Manchester United who actually worse than Arsenal this season, set-piece wise. So when we make a big deal about the set-piece coach, he's absolutely out of this world in terms of going forward, but they've got a big problem defensively. So should we be cutting his wages in half? Or do they need a defensive set-piece coach?
Maybe that's the way it goes, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, a couple of guys bouncing up and down on the sideline.
No, but I feel like it's been one of the stories of the season, and rightly so. I mean, even tonight, the delivery, Kiwior talking to players, people blocking people, getting the delivery right in the right position, the header, it's unbelievable. You feel like every game you go into, Arsenal are going to score a goal on a set piece, or they come very close to score it. And of course, he's had a huge impact, but it is funny, isn't it, that on the flip side of that, they're having huge problems themselves.
Theo, Trossard gave Arsenal the lead before half-time. How important is it his ability that he can play off either foot, he can shoot with either foot when he's playing in this more central position?
Do you know what? It's a player as well who's gifted anywhere in that front line. He's always comfortable with his back against the play. His first touch is absolutely outstanding to kill the pass with that much pace. But as well, because he keeps people guessing on when he plays on the left-hand side, you're never quite sure if he's going to go on the inside or the outside. He gets his luck, obviously from the deflection, but he's a player that's been so important and probably an underrated player in some sense. When I say underrated, I think he's had moments where he may not be in a game, but he will get that goal. And I think that's when you have players like that in the dressing room or in that team, that in a slip of a moment they can just create something out of nothing. He's certainly got that at Arsenal, because there's not many of them that can create finishes like that easily as well with both foot. And so for me, yeah, he's important. It's going to be interesting to see where he plays as well. I'm still trying to figure that out myself if he's going to drop Marino. Obviously,
were you convinced if that was the audition? Were you convinced by it?
I mean, he gets a goal, yeah. I mean, it's one of those, you put yourself in that position to get a goal. He's done his job. I think there was elements in the second half, it did start to die off, and it was one of those where as soon as Crystal Palace got that goal, everyone woke up a bit. And but yeah, I think he's put a little bit of pressure on that side of it. But look, he lives with that.
I think the fact that at home in the first leg makes it easier to go with sort of Trossard at the top end of the pitch, Marino a little bit further back. I think it'd been a lot tougher if it was away from home in the first leg. Because obviously, Partey be back for the second leg. I think that would have been a much more interesting conundrum. But again, it's another situation where Arsenal without a player, an important player in Partey. Think of Gabriel, obviously Havertz, Jesus as well. And I think if Arsenal had the full repertoire of players, I think they have a really strong chance of going on and winning the Champions League. It's just going to be a lot tougher missing players.
He has one or two decisions to make, doesn't he, selection-wise, Mikel Arteta.